everybody, it's Jack here with Spy from SGTV. Spy Pie Gaming makes content highlighting games, industry news, and events surrounding the gaming community. If that interests you, we would ask that you go ahead and subscribe to the channel and make sure notifications are turned on. That way you can keep up to date as our videos drop. And keep the community growing that way. So today's weekly commentary is more about the developing Activision Blizzard lawsuit. So as of, I'm not exactly sure when, sometime this week, I believe.
It was around today or yesterday that we had these things come out. I can't remember if it was today or yesterday.
Yeah, I was reading an article. It was updated on the 25th, so that's yesterday. So California has expanded its anti-discrimination lawsuit against Activision Blizzard, adding temporary workers to the female full-time employees of whom it is suing on behalf.
It's not good when the state's starting to add things to this growing list.
No, it's not.
And we just keep hearing more.
Some of what has driven this expansion of the definition of the group, I guess, the legal definition of the group, who the Department of Employment and Housing of California is pursuing, is Activision Blizzard has been accused of blocking efforts, I guess is a good way to put it, blocking efforts of the investigation through pretty stringent NDAs, which, non-disclosure agreements, requiring employees to speak with the companies ahead of contacting the DFEH and its involvement with the law firm.
It's an issue whenever they know that they're going to go to the DFEH and instead they're pulling them in to sign non-disclosure agreements, which could easily be considered a violation of rights and a obstruction of justice.
Right. I see it as that. It kind of screams, that kind of thing screams to me, look, we know something wrong is going on, so you're only allowed to say what we tell you to say.
They're silencing people as quickly as possible.
Yeah, it's they've also been accused of I don't know if shredding documents exactly, but something similar to destroying evidence.
Right, which they are legally supposed to keep all documents during an investigation.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure that makes sense to everyone why you would have to keep them.
Yeah. So the expansion of the lawsuit claims that Activision Blizzard's actions directly interfere with the investigation and prosecution and remedy to the workplace discrimination and harassment violations on behalf of these employees and temporary workers, which I feel like is important because temporary workers usually they're not normally included in things like this. So that gives you, to me anyway, that gives you kind of a picture of how far exactly this particular thing reaches.
From the one I had read, a quote saying that they basically have to go 3 months without pay. And that's all right. That's already an issue. And then you consider the treatment of the women within the workforce there. And it makes sense why a bunch of idiots might think that it's okay to hire people on a temporary basis, and then once things get too red hot, they fire them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because the thing is, so temp workers, contingent labor, whatever you want to call it, they're literally at the whim of, do we want you here right now, right? So they're very easy to get rid of, they're very easy to call in, they're very easy to replace. So utilizing them is beneficial in a situation like this. And I'm sure they used them before, but it's definitely far more beneficial now because they can just kind of roll them in and out as they need.
And during all of the, if you consider the treatment of the women that are permanent workers there, then you start to really wonder, what are they doing with temporary workers as well? I mean, that's if you're doing that to the people who work with you every day, what happens when you know the person isn't going to work with you tomorrow?
Right. So I've actually got Activision Blizzard's response to the latest developments pulled up here, and I'm gonna read it word for word, so that way it's not speculation or opinion or whatever. It's what the company said.
Well, we're only two people, so we might as well just go off what they said themselves.
So it says here, the statement is: throughout our engagement with the DFEH, which is the State of California's Department of Fair Employment and Housing, we have complied with every proper request in support of its review, even as we had been implementing reforms to ensure our workplaces are welcome and safe for employees. Those changes continue today and include the following: several high-level personnel changes, revamping hiring and recruiting practices requiring diverse interview panels, greater transparency on pay equity, expanded and improved training and investigative capabilities for human resource and compliance staff, created investigation teams outside of business units to support greater independence, restructured divisions to support greater accountability, enhanced review processes to include evaluation of managers by employees, clear boundaries on workplace behavior with a zero tolerance approach to harassment and other actions that diminish or marginalize. We strive to be a company that recognizes and celebrates the diverse talents and perspectives that lead to the creation of great, globally appealing entertainment. We have provided the DFEH with clear evidence that we do not have gender pay or promotion disparities. Our senior leadership is increasingly diverse, with a growing number of women in key leadership roles across the company. We share DFEH's goal of a safe, inclusive workplace that rewards employees equitably and are committed to setting an example that others can follow. With regards to the claims that we have destroyed information by shredding documents, those claims are not true. We took appropriate steps to preserve information relevant to the DFEH investigation. So I feel like a little bit of that needs to be unpacked.
I think the main thing I really want to get on about is the fact that they say we have not destroyed documents by shredding. But the realistic nature of workplaces today is that we don't use paper.
Yeah, it's very little, government regulated workplaces usually are required to keep a hard copy of whatever records the overseeing agency requires. Aside from that, most of it is digital. It lives in the cloud, or it lives in email, or it lives some digital form. So yeah, all right, so you didn't shred it. Okay, that's fine. You probably didn't have very much to shred.
I mean, they're literally a tech giant.
Yeah, absolutely. That amplifies it even more, right?
The chances that they have paperwork laying around in their offices is high. Do they use them to write down complaints? I doubt that. I doubt the fact that they're using paper still to write down everyone's complaints. Not even when you call into a call service.
Right.
They don't write it down. They type it into the computer.
Exactly. They have a file, a file gets created. They type in the details so that way anybody else that looks at it knows what's going on. Here's something to think about too. So paperwork is the reason companies got away from paperwork is it's a very clunky, slow, not responsive, it's not real time, right? So right. I'm going to get off, I guess, on a tangent here a little bit, but so I have a day job. and the company that I work for is required to, it has oversight by a governmental agency. So we are required to keep certain hard copy records of the activities of the business. Those hard copies and the things that the purposes that they serve are very clunky. They're very like they're cumbersome. They're not real time. It causes problems, and we know that. And that's that's kind of where the advent of like technological integration has come along, because you need information in real time, especially on like we're talking about Activision Blizzard. It's like one of the giants, right? Like you can't operate off paperwork, number one. So I feel like that's kind of a, me and Spy were talking about this beforehand. That's kind of picking and choosing. That's like cherry picking words, right? Like, okay, you didn't shred something. You probably didn't have anything to shred. Like, it doesn't make sense for you to have file cabinets like full of paperwork. Like, this ain't Enron, and for anybody who doesn't know, but
well, like it's not the year 2000 anymore.
Right.
And it's not the year 2010 even.
Right.
Like, technology has come far enough that most tech corporations don't keep physical copies of a lot of their media.
And the innovation has been at a blinding speed, right? So, and
like, I'm sure they use both.
There are things that I believe that exist in both formats.
But if you have to add by shredding at the end, as they did at the end of it, they said by shredding,
right?
Which is already claiming like a little bit of it's different. That's different now that you added that last few words,
right?
Now
we didn't get rid of evidence.
They have time to prepare these things
by shredding.
They have a long time to prepare a one thing to say to the world.
Yes.
And if it is not clear cut,
they have a full blown PR team, right?
Right.
And lawyers out the fucking ears, I'm sure.
I'm sure everyone who wants to say something has to go through a couple people, which means that when the company is saying,
they said that,
yeah,
right? Like the NDAs that they're having all these employees and everybody sign, like they have to speak to the company before they can speak to anybody else. It's like they're compelling the words that get said by the employees. Like they're not allowed to tell whatever their truth may be. They're allowed only to tell what the company's truth is.
Right. And so, like, Asmongold himself, I was watching, and he had pulled up a Twitter page that has, and he said that he can verify these are people from Blizzard.
Right.
Which, I mean, it's Asmongold. He doesn't have the best relationship with Blizzard, but if he says that he can verify it, that means that someone has actually talked to him. Now, this Twitter account is set up, and what I've understood about it is it's the in-group who work there, right, or have worked there,
right, and
they are posting things to, like, what's going on. And they were like, they're shredding documents.
Right.
Like, if you're the people on the ground,
right,
who are anonymous right now,
right,
because they have to be.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
it's a safety issue.
Right, and it's a big safety issue when it's your entire, like, monetary gain.
Mm-hmm.
And they're looking at this like they're saying this as Blizzard saying we're not shredding documents, and it's like they're saying you're destroying it.
Right.
We're not asking you if you're putting it through a shredder.
Right.
We're asking you, as a company, where are the files?
Right.
And are they in a secure place?
Right.
And if you can't tell me yes, then you're obstructing justice.
And you have to take into account the agency looking into this, and the lawyers and the whatnot. Everybody investigating this. If they're saying, "Hey, look, there's some holes here. Where did it go?" There's some truth to that. They didn't just make it up. Like, seriously, like Activision Blizzard made one of the most beloved games of
multiple
all time.
Times.
Right.
Multiple times.
And
franchises
so
of
who really
love
has an agenda to be like, we're gonna take we're gonna take these people down, right? Like that don't happen unless somebody's like, all right. So years ago, Microsoft got just assaulted for the monopoly they had created. That type of thing makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, like, when you start to approach on monopoly territory, you gotta, like, you know things are coming down.
Right. But in this case, we're talking about a company that makes games. It runs on whatever, I personally have not played. I'm sure I've played some of their games, but I haven't.
You haven't invested in them enough.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm sure they're on a lot of platforms. It's not like a monopoly situation. This is a situation where people were fucking cube crawling, and that brings up another point here. They said, let's see here, they expanded and improved training and investigative capabilities for human resources and compliance staff. Like, that is the fucking job description of human resources. Okay, they are there to make things right for people that work for the company. That's what they're there for. That's their fucking job description.
If everything was okay at Blizzard, then tell me why all the people at the top have automatically they left ship before the case, and now they're leaving ship quickly. They must be getting these big severance packages so they can parachute the fuck out.
Oh, absolutely. And that is always the case.
And I always said, like, they need a shakeup. Yeah. And I'm happy that these people are going. But it seems like a real weird situation when it's not like it's not something we hear. Like they just leave now.
Right.
It's not like we know that he's going out at some point, or that like we can verify why he's leaving.
Right.
He's just gone. Right. Why is he leaving? Because he's just leaving. Why is he? And like we're looking at it as like, I know we need a shake up.
Right.
As a consumer, I want a shake up in that company.
Right.
Do I want a bunch of executives parachuting out?
Right.
As the shake up?
Right.
Not really.
The thing. All right. So for anybody that doesn't know, I've got a history in and I think I've mentioned this before, but I have a history in I can't say corporate level, but I have a history in like management and how things work, and I've got some education in that. And there's literally, no matter what you do, no matter why you leave the company, there are always parachute clauses in place. And I don't know if that's the exact terminology, but that's how it works. Where these executives, even though they're leaving, even if it's on, not good terms, they're taken care of. So this, like, it's the very first thing. It's literally the very first like bullet point on their response. Several high-level personnel changes. Okay.
What do you mean by changes?
So we dumped them, is what it sounds like. And the thing that's going on behind the scenes that I'm sure people aren't aware of and aren't thinking about is, and maybe they are, but these people that are leaving are taken care of. They just are.
Well, they're leaving with $1 million stashed in their pocket.
Right. They're leaving with cash benefits. They're leaving with stock benefits. They're leaving with
and they're not going to get blacklisted from any corporation.
No, and that's why they do that.
And then what that means is that they're going to start permeating up. They're going to start coming up in other businesses. Yes. Like, who's to say? And like, I love Elder Scrolls Online, but who's to say that some of these assholes can't find their way into ZeniMax?
Right.
And then we got to deal with that.
I really don't know what drives it exactly, but it's like I liken it to a cult, basically. Like, you're in the in crowd now. Like, you made it C class or E class, whatever you want to call it, corporate executive.
I think you're saying E class and D class because you've been watching those exploring series videos.
Well, yeah, you gotta do stuff in your free time, but So once like you're on that level, you are now friends or acquaintances, one of the two, with like some of the most, the giants of the industry, right? And it doesn't matter what industry, like these industries cross mingle. So like gaming cross mingles with other things, and as a corporate executive, you don't necessarily have to have specialized knowledge in the industry that you're in. You just have to have specialized knowledge in the function that you perform. So like if you're the director of accounting, you can be the director of accounting anywhere that you go. Like it doesn't matter if it was at Activision and you moved to ZeniMax.
Yeah.
Like you can go
leaving.
to Ford and fucking be the director of accounting. Like you can, it's not.
Or at least
specific.
damn near close to it. Like you're not gonna leave. If you're leaving right now as a high-end business guy or whatever, right? Like you're leaving the company with severance packages likely coming, and they're leaving with just en masse. Like that's not how these things operate. Like no shakeup happens overnight.
No.
Especially with a multi-conglomerate, like, billion-dollar business.
One thing on this list that bothers me deeply, for what it's worth, is the last bullet point references a zero tolerance policy being implemented for harassment.
Implementing
that should that's one of those things that should inherently already exist. Every company that I've worked for already has that.
We had that at McDonald's.
Yeah, it's a pretty universal concept that you don't mess with people in that way. Like there are rules of engagement between individuals, especially of the opposite gender, and you don't make people uncomfortable, and that's a well understood thing.
We're not all friends at the same workplace. So you can't treat it like that. You can't, you know what I mean? Even if it's something that's like misunderstood or whatever, like
right.
You have to have that law, that standard there,
right?
Just so that there can be a conversation,
right? Because
sometimes there isn't an issue,
right?
It's just discomforting, and then you solve it,
right? And
that's how it should be handled,
right?
But if it continues, that's where you start firing people,
right? And it goes so far as to say that they are establishing clear boundaries. Like I really think those boundaries are fairly clear. Like beyond fairly, actually. Like I think the boundary between harassment and not harassment is extremely clear.
Like, let's consider this. Blizzard's been around for, I'm going to say 20, 30 years, but I don't know exactly.
It's quite a long time.
I know it's been at least 30 because Diablo 2. Right? And Diablo 1. So they've been around for about, let me say 30 years. It's probably more or less, but whatever.
Right. They're one of the earlier, yes.
Yeah. And they revolutionized gaming PC. Mm-hmm. Like everything they produced was a reason to get a gaming PC.
Right.
And now you're looking at it and you're like, all right, you've been a company now for 30 years.
Right.
Why were these, I feel like if we became a company tonight, we'd probably have these conducts already, established.
Yeah, because it's common sense.
These are things you write down day one.
They're out Wolf of Wall Street, and if you've seen the movie, that's I feel like that's what's happened here, and that's now why they're being investigated.
That movie ended in a certain way.
It did, and you know what? Look, he's turned his life around and all that stuff. But here's the thing, you just don't operate a company like that. You don't, and for good reason, because guess what? Bad shit comes out of it, like this, cube crawling comes out of it, I'm sorry that I'm hung up on that, but like, what the fuck is cube crawling?
No, you
like,
can't.
Why?
You can't be sorry for getting hung up on that. That is something
I'm
justifiably.
not really.
And it's that like today. I sent you a screenshot of it. For today finally uninstalled Burning Crusade.
Yeah.
I did, and I kind of felt a little bit of relief.
I would.
Like,
I would.
I kept it on for no reason. Like, it was on my hard drive, and I was hoping, but
Yeah.
I knew,
Yeah.
but I was hoping
Yep.
that there'd be something coming out of this that wouldn't be just utter broke.
Yeah.
And they didn't. They didn't do, like, they've handled literally all of this in the manner that you would expect, like, a high school kid.
Yeah, it's sometimes, like, when I think about it, it's really just, it's hard to believe sometimes, and
This is a freshman, man. This is a freshman year kid, and he's like, why don't we just say we didn't do it?
yeah, like, I don't know. I don't know what anybody's thinking that's involved in this and like responding to the allegations. I really don't know what exactly it is they're thinking. I don't know what it is that they're being told. Because in non-disclosure agreements, obviously somebody's being compelled to say something more than likely other than what the truth is.
If you have to sign an NDA before you can talk to the government,
Yes.
I mean, like, that's already an issue.
That's a huge problem because NDAs are designed for like when you're working with proprietary like information or stuff like that, right?
It's so that if you are someone who like has multiple like career paths, right? Like you could go on to multiple different companies.
Right.
The NDA is there so that in case you do, you
don't share secrets.
right.
You
And
know?
that is a standard, and I understand that because that's like that
Right.
makes sense. Competition is important,
right.
and we all have to play by the same rules.
Right.
Why are we now competing with the government's investigation, however?
Right.
What's the competition? Well, I think the competition is that you all are about to lose your fucking jobs up at the top.
Right.
And you're about to probably get a sentence in jail, prison, or something, or a big ass fucking fine because you decided to shred documents. Now, obstruction of justice, I'm pretty sure, probably carries a lighter sentence than they would get. And I don't know, but I imagine in my mind that even if they were found of that, they would get a lighter sentence than they would on the things that they're destroying.
Yeah.
Like, if you're starting to weigh the odds of obstruction of justice, you've gone too far.
Okay, so as I was looking here at some of the information on this, so the amendment actually happened Monday.
Okay.
It was officially filed on Monday, and that was what redefined the group that was wronged by the gaming giant.
So okay, considering that, right, Monday, the government, right, came in and they had to add in more despicable things. Like,
Yeah.
Look, this should have been, like, the case that's there should have already gone through to a court. I understand that we're in, like, COVID times, so, you're not going to get into a judge any day. You know what I mean? But, like, how do you fuck up bad enough that a continuing investigation continues to just find you, like, trying to lie to them? Like, these people are in your office, right?
Yeah.
And they're standing next to you, and then you're just like, yeah, let me take this down to the shredding area. It's like, what is that? Oh, just some things talking about cube crawls. Like, you know.
I just like get out of here with that. It just
They're in your office, man.
Who thought about that? Who thought about it?
It's
and
like,
why didn't they get a hit in the mouth?
It's like I stole your wallet and now I'm trying to find it with you.
Yeah.
Like, it's just stupid. It's stupid.
So here's something that is may or may not be interesting to anybody listening, but it's interesting to me. So the changes came after stories revealed toxic conditions for contract workers.
Which, as we just talked about a minute ago, contract workers, and I mean, I've worked contract jobs, and they don't treat you like an employee.
They don't
already.
Right. So apparently some stories were shared from the ABK Workers Alliance, which I'm assuming is the contract employee agency.
Right. That's kind of like your come here, we'll give you a job. Yeah, places.
Right. And apparently this even spans or reaches out into the quality assurance and customer service departments. And in such a way that it results in brutal overtime paired with little pay. And let's see here, a statement directly from a contract employee is they feel that a lot of pressure to excel, impress, and move through the ranks as fast as you can before your contract ends, so you don't go 3 months without pay or have to find another job. That's a stressful situation. That's an extremely stressful situation.
I'd actually like to make sure that it's clear. You did misread a little bit. It does say as fast as you can before your contract ends, and you are forced to go 3 months without income or find another job.
Right. Now, I'm not going to, I don't know exactly what the 3 months thing is. Maybe that's, I know there are companies that,
they might have one of those, like
kind of like you're laid off for a little bit.
Yeah.
And another worker has come out to say that they suffer from extreme stress, which the statement that was just made, that's pretty extreme stress. Are overworked and underpaid across the board. So I don't know exactly. I would like to look into it more, and probably will, just out of curiosity.
I wonder if there are any new people who are coming in during this.
I would turn around and run.
Yeah, especially if you're like in the industry already, and you're like, all right, I'm gonna go work for Blizzard for a week. Oh God, no.
Right, and all right, you know what? That brings up another point. Here's the thing: a lot of contract workers that are out there, they're looking for work. Contract workers in this industry, like I know if I was personally doing it, I imagine if you were doing it or anybody else doing it, if you're working in the gaming industry, you probably enjoy your job.
Right.
This inherently makes it just impossible to enjoy.
Well, here's the thing: a contract worker who floats like between and we're talking about this industry specifically, which is gaming and game development.
Right.
Which is different than all other types of contract work. Like contract work is like, help me build this fence.
Right.
This is like a project.
Right.
So you get hired on for the project.
Right.
Once the game is done or close to done, you leave.
Right.
So you got like, I don't know, maybe, who's to say? Let's say I would say on minimum 3 months.
Right.
And I would say at maximum
unless
a
you're
year.
Bethesda.
Right. Well, that's a 10-year journey.
And you're remaking Skyrim for the 35th time.
I feel like we talk about Skyrim every single one of these videos.
I can't help it. I hate it so bad. It just and it makes it worse because I re-downloaded or repurchased Morrowind here recently, and I see again in a far more intense way how bad it is.
And here's the thing though about it. Are you getting up to grab something to drink? All right, well, bring me some too. I'm gonna keep talking to the audience. So, I just find it's a real issue, like all in, like wrapped in within itself. Like, you come in to work on this project, like it's 3 months to a year. I don't know, but that's about what I would assume from contract work that I've had in my life, and so you're dedicating a bit of time, a lot of time, and a lot of like resources to this this company. Once you leave, you go to whoever needs you. So you might be working at like Epic Games one week, and then turn around you're working for Bethesda or Blizzard. And when you get the Blizzard one, I can't imagine you're excited anymore. Like, people used to be excited for the opportunity to even go to Blizzard. Like, it was seen as like a cuddly environment, like straight up. Like, they showed how much like diversity they had and just openness to new ideas. And yet, I mean, we all who've played WoW, we know that their openness to new ideas was a bit sometimes, but the issue is that we're sitting here, you're looking for work, and like you get Blizzard, and this is all going on, and you know that people are parachuting. Are you gonna take that job now? Like, would you rather go without any work than work at Blizzard for 3 months?
Yes. I'm back, by the way. We didn't come prepared.
We came zero prepared. That's okay, though.
That's how we operate. In case you didn't get the point from the other day, that's exactly how we operate.
Well, we're just 2 guys in a garage, and the audience here, they're the third guy.
We're coming after you, Bill Gates and Steve Jobs.
Yeah, because we got the garage set up.
Right.
I mean, it's not actually set up. We got so much trash in here, and it's just a mess.
No, hold on now. Let's say we're not operating in squalor. Let's not give the wrong impression.
I mean, my side of the area is pretty squalor. I got a box over here with a bag in it for trash. Like, either way, it's just stupid. It's stupid. I don't know how you can have an investigator standing in your office and then be like, it's okay to now destroy the evidence. Like, that hurts my brain a little. That hurts my brain. That they're destroying evidence in front of the guy who's taking notes. Like, this guy's taking notes on what you're doing all day. And you're like, right in front of him, we're gonna destroy documents.
Yeah.
Which is illegal.
You know what? This isn't just talk. This is I'm looking at the formal court document that was filed. One of the causes of action is now that they have destroyed requested information. There's a good level of truth that it happened if that's the case.
Well, if they're asking for requested information, that means that they've already seen that information was there at one point. Like, because I can't request something unless I know you have it.
It says here the defendant, or defendants, I guess, which would be Activision Blizzard. It says here that they withheld privileged and confidential documents and correspondence on compensation and pay equity purported to address gender disparities because the analysis involved attorneys. Let's see here. Let me read a little bit of this first. Hold on. I'm going to let Spy ramble on like you do.
You're just going to throw it over here at me?
Yeah.
All right, so...
This is written in legalese. Legalese is, it takes a second.
I was going to say that phrase earlier. You read that, and I'm going to tell the audience about our squalor. So, we've been having lights. We've been having lights go out. Okay, and the breaker box that sits within the garage we're in keeps flipping.
Oh wow! So, Activision Blizzard denied the existence of the waivers and releases.
So every single time the breaker box flips, my frame rate drops from 60 to 17, and it's causing issues in recording.
I'm sorry that you don't have better than cinematic frame rate.
Yeah.
But let's talk about the internet connection for a second.
Yeah, okay. We have really good internet connection here, but sometimes it breaks a little. Like, I don't know why.
Oh, so the Department of Fair Employment and Housing was informed that these things happen, which means someone on the inside blew the whistle. Activision Blizzard is gonna have a really difficult time coming back.
I think Blizzard's gonna have a hard time too.
Yeah.
I think they're fucked. I think they're fucked, and they know they're fucked, and they've known they're fucked before this thing came out.
Including but not limited to documents related to investigations and complaints were shredded by human resource personnel, and emails. There you go. What did I say? Emails are deleted 30 days after employees' separation. So any evidence
that's a month.
Yeah.
A month.
Yeah.
Okay. Remember that right now they're under investigation, which would mean that they are legally mandated to hold all evidence that could pertain to the case.
Wow. So this actually all right, so the defendants, this is straight from the court, the filing with the courts. The defendant's failure to retain records that was required to make and maintain, under state and federal law violates government code, and I'm not going to get into the section numbers, but if you want to know that, you can look it up. But
yeah, I don't know
it is
all that.
This simply not maintaining records is unlawful conduct.
Oh yeah, because like they need that every file that is in Blizzard right now can pertain to the case. Which means that you better fucking find an extra hard drive and keep it there, because we can't rule anything out right now. And it would be stupid to try to do it. Like, this is a very thorough document already.
Right.
Now we're adding that they're trying to remove the whole work that was done by the government is now trying to be uprooted.
Yeah.
And they're reporting it in real time.
Yeah.
Real-time reporting saying, hey, they're fucking up our investigation.
It was originally, I would have to think back or look back, but originally there were 10 causes of action.
I think there were 12.
Well, there has been an additional cause of action added.
Great. They need more.
Because of this.
I'm sounding sarcastic, but realistically, they do need it.
It's bad.
Yeah, they need to be.
It's going downhill fast.
Look, we need to strike while the iron's hot on it. As much as I hate these multi-conglomerate corporations as a person, like, this goes beyond a normal corporation being dicks. Like, Coca-Cola is probably a dick. Yeah. They're probably a bit, cheeky here and there. But, like, This goes farther than that by a significant standard. I don't trust Coca-Cola to give me an answer, but I do feel like a game corporation should be able to just take a moment and give an actual response.
So, the statement about the excessiveness of the non-disclosure agreements is actually coming from a law firm who I'm going to assume deals with the NDAs on a regular basis because they are a legal document, and for good reason.
Well, they're dealing with them every day because they're making everyone sign them.
But there's a law firm, Wilmer Hale, is not happy. If I'm reading this correctly, I could be reading this incorrectly, but I do know that the egregiousness of the NDAs is a statement that has been made by a law firm, which is pretty intense. Like, if a law firm thinks, alright, so I'll say this. I know that law firms that are prosecuting or investigating or whatever, they do tend to make things sound a slight bit worse up to a lot worse than what they actually are. But given that court filings have now included these things as a cause of action, I'm going to guess there's some truth to how
prevalent, really.
Yeah, it's
well,
if I have to go to my manager and be like, hey, I gotta ask this question, how do I answer it? I have a problem. The company has a problem, because if I can't just answer the question, something's going on. Like, if there's any doubt in anybody's mind at this point that something is or is not going on, I feel like you're not paying attention. And I don't necessarily mean that in an insulting way.
I mean, I understand, I still...
2 + 2 = 4, and it just does, every time.
I still understand why people play Blizzard games.
I do. That's something I want to touch on. I think it's a good idea for us to touch on that.
Yeah, I understand it, because not everyone, and actually I'm going to say this, it's more of a broad statement, but I think this is a very important thing to say, is that no one is required to give a damn about what goes on inside the company.
Right.
However, while I think morally, in my own moral code, that I can't pay or play these games, some people just want to play games, man.
They do.
And I get that.
That I think is part of what exactly it is, and so I just, as we're sitting here talking, I just retweeted something regarding this on our own Twitter account.
Yeah, we're gonna that's a time date right there as to what time it is that we're recording.
Yeah, you know what? It's we do a lot of things at oddball times.
You mean at 10 o'clock at night?
Yeah, it's 10 o'clock ain't too bad, but the thing with, alright, so all this going on, people are gonna still play WoW. They're still gonna play other games that are owned by, because Activision Blizzard is an umbrella, right? It owns a lot of other subsidiaries.
I would like to hold on that, where you say people are gonna play WoW.
Somebody is.
I've been watching.
Some guy in the dark somewhere in his mom's basement is going to be doing that.
Well, I mean, that's true for people still play Ultima Online, and that game's kind of dead a little. Even though it's a great game, it's kind of dead. So
right.
The thing is though about it is that out of everything, we're seeing a drop off of people playing. A lot. The guilds, the amount of guilds that are clearing content. Preach Gaming had a fucking great video about this, where he went, and Bellular as well, where they went through it and they pulled out all the stats they could.
Right.
And if you start to look at the numbers, remember this, okay? These are active player characters, not accounts, right? Which means that, like,
Right.
I know for myself, like, if I was playing, I'd count for 6 characters,
Right.
like, daily.
Right.
And that's because that's just how I played.
Right.
And I'm sure, I would say most people who play WoW have 2 characters that they play at least once a week.
Right.
Like, the other character may suffer here and there on, like, gearing or whatever.
Right.
But he's going to be played at least once a week.
Right.
Now, when it comes to rating and all this shit, you start to look at it, break down the numbers, like, we are looking at maybe 2 million people playing,
Right.
which is a far cry from the 10 million people that played back in Wrath of the Lich King.
Right.
And, I mean, what are they doing, though? Like, if you look up the content they're doing, it's rating. Like, but rating's taking a huge hit. Why is rating taking a huge hit? They've added gear systems and that just don't work and are short-sighted. They add mechanics that are short-sighted, and it just keeps this hamster wheel rolling. And there's not an end point where you can say my character is as good as he's gonna get for a little while. You know? Like in Elder Scrolls Online. Like, at a certain point, I can look at my warden and say, I'm good right now. You don't have that in WoW. And that's annoying. It's annoying that it starts to tinge at the back of your skull, you know,
Right.
and gets you in that hamster wheel. So this content in the games that we're playing they're just hamster loops. And I get it that, like, a lot of us are hamsters, but some of us are guinea pigs. You know what I mean? Like, and I say that because, like, while I might be a hamster, I might run the treadmill, I'm gonna get off eventually. Guinea pigs, they're just getting fucked with. Like, and I think that's all that's left, is the people who got fucked with enough by Blizzard that they're just gonna keep playing. You know?
Yeah.
And maybe that's not a perfect analogy, you know, but it's the way it works, is that Blizzard will always have a dedicated audience due to the way the games are made. Like, they were an addictive game from 2005 that held straight for a long time. But when we start seeing people drop off like this, you know that the game's suffering. And as we've said before, if this is what's going on in the offices, it's fucking damn clear that it's affecting the game. Like, everything going on in that shit, like, if you're cube crawling, you're not coding.
Nah. No. Not at all.
Like, and if you're over here doing...
You're not doing a lot of things you should be doing if you're busy cube crawling.
If you think cube crawling is more important than the video games you're making, then clearly the video game sucks a little. Like, you just don't care enough. And that's where we're at now, is that they just don't care enough.
Yeah.
They don't care about the games they're making. They don't care about the product at all. They don't care about the consumer. And I hate that term, by the way. Consumer. It should be customer. Right?
Yeah.
But we're in a new world now. But that's where we're at. Customers get fucked. The people who work on our games get fucked over. And the people at the top keep making these millions of dollars. And then one person goes, hey, we should investigate that. And when they do, they turn up just an ungodly amount of information. And then it just repeats itself. Like all they need to do is if I can't help but say this, but like they do not have or have not given an answer for anything that they've been asked that is satisfying. Like, give us a straight answer, and if you're unable to give us a straight answer, it's because you know you're fucked.
So, alright, hold on.
Yeah.
Since,
I'm holding real hard, man.
what are you holding on to?
I'm holding on to the hope that maybe World of Warcraft can be good one day.
Yeah.
But, like, that hope's kind of drying out.
Yeah. I would say that this is it's big hit in the mouth. This situation in general is a big hit in the mouth to Activision Blizzard and whatever it was that they may or may not have had in their sights.
I don't think that StarCraft first-person shooter that had been rumored about is coming out anytime soon.
Yeah.
I don't think Diablo 4 is coming out anytime soon. I mean, Diablo Immortals might. Everyone's got a phone, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I
If you don't, you got BlueStacks on the computer. Fuck off. Anyway.
I really don't think their future, like development games, I don't think any of them are gonna come out.
So we're kind of doing some real-time research here. I am anyway. I got my laptop in front of me.
Yeah, you do more research than I just kind of get on the mic and just say things sometimes.
We're not going to go down the Eminem route right now.
Yeah.
So
I did that already twice now.
I believe that. I was out of the room for a minute.
Yeah, you walked out of the room and you left chaos on a microphone.
So in 2017 was Blizzard Entertainment's peak. 46 million players, and they are now down. They're down to 26 million. This article was published August 11th.
Now, we don't have the full amount. Like, we don't know because they stopped reporting.
I understand that.
So whatever is said, remember, we do have to take it with a small pinch of salt because, because corporations are going to hide the shit.
Yeah, because bad information gets cloaked into very vague terminology. So what we do know, and this is I'm looking at this on screen, but I don't think it's a secret either, because we do know that Asmongold has kind of made the switch to Final Fantasy 14.
And we did the same with Elder Scrolls Online.
Yeah.
Or I did.
Asmongold has gone as far as calling the WoW community trash in comparison to the Final Fantasy 14 community.
I kind of believe him, though.
Yeah, I mean,
like,
I don't know much about it, but like, I
look, man. Like,
believe it.
Remember how in Vivek you have people that are dancing on the wood stacks?
Yeah.
Look. World of Warcraft is like that, but imagine you're raiding with these people.
No.
Like, yeah. That like I'm kind of just at an odds, They're not trying to make a product anymore. Sorry, they're not trying to make a game anymore. They're trying to make a product.
Yeah.
And it's funny because of all these games that are supposed to be WoW killers, none of them killed WoW. WoW did.
Which is, in conversation with you and seeing some content around it, that seems to be what the general consensus is.
I mean, my brother called it back in Wrath the Lich King. Like when I was a kid,
Yeah.
I remember him saying something along the lines of like, no, Star Wars: The Old Republic won't kill WoW, you know. And they're like, oh, they're too big to die. Even if it went down to nothing, people are going to play on the servers. And then now as an adult, I'm literally seeing it. Like, WoW killed WoW. My brother called it back in Wrath, you know.
Right.
And I mean, like, that's foresight, but like, still.
So I'm going to be completely transparent and say that I've landed in Reddit.
Oh, no.
No, look here's the thing. This is
Look,
as long as you find a decent one, this is where the people on the ground are at.
Well, you know what? You need to find a decent community within Reddit. Shameless plug, really quickly, about Spy Pie Gaming TV has their own Reddit page. It's ran by me, and you should check it out because you know I post screenshots of shit just randomly, and
it's a good one. And you gotta have a shameless plug. So it's funny because, all right, so I'm not gonna mention the user's name, but they have a good point. So Activision Blizzard was losing out during the darkest point of the pandemic when people were actively seeking at-home recreation. That's kind of fucked up.
So I remember seeing that at the time of it coming out, and so have you heard anything from their earnings call that happened not that long ago?
Yeah, I did actually, and
there was a surprisingly low amount of things said about World of Warcraft.
I wonder why.
It's almost like, and as we know, when you're talking to shareholders, if you have nothing good to say, you just
say some shit that doesn't make real sense.
You say things that sound good.
Right.
Like, you're like, oh, well, we've hit our standard.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, all right, you hit your standard. But, like, beforehand, I feel like they used to be able to, like, in Wrath of the Lich King, they probably could have came in that boardroom meeting and been like, we just fucking made trillions.
Right.
But now they're sitting there like, yeah, we made game.
Mm-hmm.
We made game, and now it's surviving.
Right. Like, it says something when you stop reporting certain statistics.
Yeah,
like,
you know.
It just does.
Like a statistic about how many people play. That might be something relevant.
So
they did. The reason they did it, by the way.
Monthly. I'm gonna. MAUs, monthly active users. So
They used the metrics garnered from in-game purchases, which are mounts and stuff like that in game.
Right.
And then they also use the subscriber, like, you know, your payment for your monthly subscription. And
Right.
they do all that, and they add that as the revenue generated now.
Right.
Which is an issue because every 6 months now we get a fucking brand new mount.
Right.
Like, I remember back in Legion, actually, it was Warlords of Draenor. We had a new mount come out on the store, and people were like, why the fuck is this still a thing?
Right.
And then Legion came out, and I don't remember many of them coming out. I'm pretty sure during Legion they had a few that came out. But then BFA happened, and then you got a pirate ship that gets bundled in with your 6-month sub, and you pay it outright. So it's big money right away, and then you're locked in, right? Because if you pay for 6 months of the subscription,
right,
you're playing 6 months.
That's all right. So here's the thing, that is actually a misleading concept because, all right, I paid for 6 months. I might have played 2 days.
Yes,
and that'd be it. You know,
but it's a lock-in system. It's a way to lock in some people.
Right.
I mean, it doesn't work for everyone.
It's like the Planet Fitness model.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
But the thing is, though, they have your money now.
Yes.
It doesn't matter if you play all day and night for 6 months. It doesn't matter if you play a day.
Right.
It doesn't matter. You gave them 6 months worth of money now.
Right.
like whatever happens, happens.
Mm-hmm.
And if you start giving companies like money that you're not quite sure of,
Right.
you got an issue.
Yeah.
Like, I have never once paid for more than the 1 month subscription in WoW.
Right.
Ever. Why? Because there were times where I hated the mechanics of a certain patch and then just dropped my subscription.
Right.
Like, I'm not gonna play a game I'm not enjoying. I'm gonna leave.
Right.
But I'll come back later. Like in Legion, my favorite expansion ever, and I fucking dropped my sub for like a month just because I was doing other things. I was playing other games at the time, and I just wasn't happy with a couple of the changes. So I was like, all right, I'm going.
Right.
I'll be back after you fix your shit.
Right.
And then when I came back, shit was fixed, so I was good.
Right.
Or it was fixed better.
I would say that it makes sense to operate that way.
Well, you got to put your own personal interests first.
Mm-hmm.
Is a mount worth locking yourself in? Even if you don't play, you're locking yourself in to the monetary part of it.
So I am gonna say no.
And that, they made it sound like that pirate ship thing was gonna like go away.
Yeah.
But then I don't even think it was 6 months. But it came back and you could just buy it. Like, they were like, it's going away after this. You better get it now.
I mean, you gotta create scarcity. It's marketing.
It's FOMO. The fear of missing out.
Yeah.
Because if you start putting pressure on people, they crack. Especially when it's money.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Like, people don't get money. And I don't get money. Like, I know that. And that's why what I do instead is spend the least amount of money and just say, that's good.
Yeah.
And then I'll figure it out from there.
Right. I think it's called budgeting. I think it's called personal finance management.
I don't know if I have that internally, but I have it enough to not give my money over just willy-nilly.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if someone was like, hey man, look, I can give you 6 months worth of whatever if you just give me $100, or I can get you what you want right now for like 20.
Right.
I'd be like, I think I'm just gonna get what I want right now.
Right.
I'll figure it out later. I think if I want more later.
This whole entire situation. I really hope this is a wake up call for. I don't even know how to articulate necessarily what it is that I want to say, but like, it doesn't matter how big you are. It doesn't matter. Nothing matters. Like, this kind of thing.
Nothing matters.
It's not that nothing matters, but like, you're
Cynical
not
outlook.
safe, right? Like, it's a good indication that you can get big enough that you really don't give a shit what's going on inside your organization.
And money's gonna continue to pour in.
Right. And at some point it causes a lack of care or whatever,
They must have really thought they were like on top of the mountain.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and they were. Like, that's the thing. They were on top of the mountain.
But like,
guess what? Like, somebody's going to be king of the hill, and it fucking ain't going to be them right now.
I'm pretty sure, right? And we talked about this in the first video.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, you got to pick an MMO.
Mm-hmm.
People picked. Yeah. And they picked Final Fantasy.
Mm-hmm.
I wish it was Elder Scrolls Online, but I understand why, like, that is the game that if you played World of Warcraft for a long enough time, the mechanics of that translate better than ESO. Right. So, that's fine.
Right.
Like, there's now a place for 2 MMOs.
Yes.
And now the thing is, so like, we've seen a lot of low-level characters recently.
Mm-hmm.
which
Yes.
means that some of the WoW refugees have also come to Elder Scrolls Online.
Yes, exactly.
And
And that probably comes from, hey, let's try something different, you know.
right. I mean, WoW refugees, I feel bad for them. I do, cause like
They're homeless.
yeah, they're real homeless. They've been homeless for like a year, but like they're staying at their buddy's house in Stormwind, you know.
They're not at the Moon Sugar Inn or whatever.
I'm sorry, what was it called?
What?
No, go ahead and say it.
Moon Sugar Inn? Is that what it is?
Goldshire.
Goldshire.
God, you got that whole thing wrong.
Well, I mean, I am admittedly not a WoW head, and now
Yeah.
I have perfect reason not to be.
Well, yeah, right. So, yeah, like you didn't invest any money in this. I
Right.
lost like probably $1,000 over the entire time.
Right.
Like I lost $1,000 into a corporation that like turned out to be cube crawling,
Yeah, in the Cosby suite.
and I'm real upset about it. I feel like I should get my $1,000 back. I think they should do it.
They should figure out, this is what, I'm going to be facetious here. They should figure out how long this has been going on, and then every penny that they've earned since then should be refunded. Because fuck Activision. Because cube crawling and the Cosby suite is the most degenerate, despicable, like, human behavior on
Right.
the planet.
Look, just
And
put it on my
something
tax
is wrong
returns.
with these people.
Put it on my tax returns. This was a charitable donation
Right,
to leading to a case that would destroy them.
right,
Yeah, so I was funding that
right.
to make sure that they would fall.
Yes.
Give me my tax money back now. This was it was for work. We do YouTube now. It's for work, so give me money. It's it's funny, but it's not.
It's not.
It's
It's,
not-
really
there's-
not.
If we don't laugh about it, then we're gonna just get angry about it.
Yeah.
And if we're bitter about it, then we're just not gonna think of any way that it could be resolved.
It's gonna be like the Skyrim issue.
I
It's
think,
just gonna
yeah.
keep coming up, and you know.
Well, I
it
think
is
the
what
thing
it
is, look, on this channel, we already have a couple things that we say,
Yeah.
like fuck Skyrim, fuck spellcasters was the first one,
Yeah.
and then we were like Skyrim shit,
Yeah.
and now we have cube crawling.
right.
Like, it got dark quickly.
Yeah. Yeah.
It started with like, spellcasters suck because they do a lot of damage.
Yeah.
Like, that's just a gameplay mechanic. And then we were like, there's one part of a game.
right.
And then we moved on to like, this game is shit.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, alright, that's fair.
Yeah.
You could say a game's shit. And then we're like, I hate everything at Blizzard because of cube crawling existing.
Right.
And it's
Right.
just,
It's.
we went dark quick.
I mean, and the important thing to note here is that they brought it on themselves.
They
Like-
did, and I funded it on accident.
Yeah. It's so bad.
The worst part is, every single dollar we spent just in the beginning, like the first 2 months of the channel,
Yeah.
because we had a month before the channel started
Yeah.
where I was playing the Rogue, and then we had a month of playing the Rogue
Right.
on the channel. Like, they got $30 from us while the investigation's going on.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, they're just getting handed money
Yeah.
while we're completely oblivious.
So they can buy the cheap whatever type of alcohol and go cube crawling and raping.
you know
and,
what though?
you know.
We gave them enough money that maybe they can buy one of those store mounts they add into the game.
Probably.
Yeah, they're $25.
Then they don't have to crawl.
Can
They
you
just
believe
ride
that shit?
Cubicle to cubicle.
Consider that $25 for a fucking mount.
Yeah, I
They're
I
all-
can't comprehend that because
They're all unique too.
it's,
Like, and the bullshit part is, like, at the time they were starting to add all these really, really unique ones.
yeah,
They were also, like, the reputation mounts. Like, so you don't know a lot about WoW, but you basically build up reputation with a faction.
right,
And at the end of the reputation, you could buy that specific, like, rep's mount, like,
Right.
the mount of their type.
right,
And, so, like, You would do all this shit, and then you get like 4 recolors of the same mount, and that would be your reward. It would be like, oh, look, there's a ram. I got a ram now. That's cool.
Yeah.
What's the other mounts I get for it? And it's like a ram, but it's green.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, okay, I like that ram better than the normal ram. And then they're like, yeah. So look, we also got a purple one.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, that one's cool. I like that one. What else do you got? A red one. Ah. Anything else?
I see a pattern here.
It seems like I did a lot of grinding for just like 4 rams.
Yeah.
And they all cost like 30k gold for no reason.
Yeah.
Like, okay, in Burning Crusade they did this because it was a flying mount.
Right.
So it made sense that like dragons have different scales.
Right.
Okay? But how many different types of rams can there be?
Yeah, space goats.
Yeah, I mean actually that what I'm referencing was taking place in space, that rep.
That's just, I don't know.
Look, man, it's a Warcraft. We have guns, and we have electricity, kind of, and we have a guy who can turn into a raven. But sometimes we journey into space with a light forged army built off the backs of like a god Naru, and we're just, this is what we're doing now.
So you went from playing World of Warcraft to Warhammer 40k?
Yeah, it went real Warhammer for a while. Like Legion got pretty Warhammery. And I say that, but like
that's real original.
They really threw power around.
Yeah.
Like legendary items could just be gotten from anything. Like you'd go out into there was no other way of acquisition. You just randomly got them.
Yeah.
So like you'd be playing the game. Like my first legendary was the one that gave a damage shield. And I was like, I'm a Fury Warrior. This is garbage.
Yeah.
Like you couldn't have given me, I don't know, any of the other ones?
Yeah.
And then my monk.
No, they were busy cube crawling.
My monk got his like best in slot legendary back to back in the same 2 days. It was 2 days, and he just got them. Like, because he got lucky.
Yeah.
While as the guy I raided with, who was a monk, spent like days trying to find this one goddamn legendary.
Well, I really hope that something good for the gaming community comes out of this.
Here's where I think that you want something good to come out of the gaming community, find out all the people who are actually involved, and then blacklist them from everything.
That would be a good thing, yes.
Clearly, they are just not stable enough to be in a workplace.
Yeah.
Like if you were the supervisor at a company.
Yeah.
And then you came into work and found everyone drunk and talking to chicks in the break room, and they're just real fucking weird about it.
Yeah, like real rapey.
Yeah, and what do you like? And if your answer to that is that's a normal day at the office, you're wrong.
Yeah,
you're wrong.
Extremely.
Yeah, you're like
vehemently wrong.
Like fundamentally, seeing this shit, if you're a supervisor, you would be losing your mind.
Oh yeah.
But these people were just like, nah, this is normal here.
Yeah.
This is how we operate now.
Yeah.
We just allow people to just drink and harass, and now we're being investigated. Oh, we're being investigated. Oh fuck. All right, look. New code of conduct, everyone. We had to implement 30 years into our business.
Yeah.
Don't be a dick. And then everyone was like, All right.
Yeah.
Like, when you work at a company that you've been a dick at for 30 years.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know how this is going to end, and I'm not going to speculate on it. I don't think it's going to end well.
I'll speculate just slightly. Just slightly. I see a situation and where their company has to get dissolved.
I can see that.
Because
games like Call of Duty does not need to suffer because of the people working on World of Warcraft. It just doesn't. It's too big of a thing, you know. And it pained me to stop playing it, but I couldn't support. I could not support the company in any way possible.
Like, I got asked from a buddy of mine today if I wanted to play Overwatch.
Yeah.
And I was like, firstly, I've had Overwatch uninstalled for like a year.
Yeah.
Because like Overwatch got real bad.
Yeah.
And then, so they asked me if I wanted to play Overwatch, and I was like, nah. And they're like, why not? And I'm like, because I really just don't want to interact with any of that.
Yeah.
And they're like, I think you're splitting hairs with it. Because like that's what happened when I logged on.
Right.
Like I had to open up BNet just so I could look and like uninstall the game.
Right.
And like one of the guys was like, hey man, haven't seen your account logged in a while, want to play Overwatch? And I was like, nah, I'm good.
Yeah.
And they're like, I'm playing the games, it ain't that. I'm like, man, I get it, you can do it. Morally, within my own being,
right,
I just can't do it.
Yeah.
Like, if I found out that like any of my devices that I use or any of the games I play was ran by people who are like a woman died because of this.
Yes. Yeah.
And then people suffer every day.
Yeah.
Money for them is a real issue. Like
right.
the brown for people. And this is a multi-billion-dollar company, and they're doing business wrong.
Yep.
And it's like, that trickles down.
Yeah, absolutely.
It trickles down to a level that like, you're gonna feel it as a player. When you log on and you got things in your face that ask you for your credit card, and then the gameplay is just a hamster wheel, and then you start to think about, like, if you think for just a moment about the content you're playing, you realize real quick that, like, this isn't even worth playing, and it's damn for sure not worth investing into what else is going on.
Right. Well, it has been quite some time. I think a good question would be, what do you all think is a good solution for this situation? Like, what's a good way for it to be handled? And I think I'm going to leave it at that and let your imagination take hold.
And here's my question, because I'm going to uproot what you're saying here. How do you guys feel about the amount of times I walk in and out of the recording session just regularly? I find it not that big of a deal, but I think that some people are probably like, why do you guys just fucking walk out? Like,
because like life, I don't know.
I was
thirsty. You know?
I'm just, look, we could have came prepared yesterday and today, but like, the kitchen's right there. Like, if I pop out for 5 minutes, you could talk. You have a voice.
Yeah.
And if you just ramble for 5 minutes, we'll be all right.
Yeah.
Like, I don't need to be here the whole time. I just need to be here 90%. And half of that time, I'm like dissociating completely. Like, when you had that thing pulled up with all the things, like what the statements were, like, I blanked out completely watching an ad.
Yeah.
I was just watching the ad for the Assassin's Creed thing.
Oh, Lord.
And I was like, you know what? I should probably return to what we were talking about. And I was like, I'll get there when he asks me a question.
Yeah, it'll be all right.
It's been a long week. We're after this week, things should return to normal.
Yeah.
But
everybody has hiccups.
But we just got to go forward now.
All right, everybody. Well, that has, I think, been enough for today's episode. There's quite a bit to cover, and we will continue to cover this particular lawsuit as it unfolds, because it is very critical to the gaming industry as a whole. If you have stuck around this long to watch the video, we understand that that is a big thing and that you did not have to, so we greatly appreciate it. If you liked the video,
we got to 700 subscribers, by the way.
We did. Thank you very much for that.
Thank you so much.
That is massive.
It like 700 people want to watch what we have to say, and I'm a little shocked. Well, because like I think I say some things that like if I said to 700 people would probably be like.
I think this. I think realness trumps all the like ultimately like just outright fake shit out there, right? Like
this is like we kind of just literally turn on the recording software and we just say what's on our minds. And that I think that's like what's missing for a lot of the content I watch.
Yeah, authenticity is, and you know what, correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but I really feel like authenticity, because I know like me personally, like if I'm watching something and I feel like it's not authentic, I'm just gonna find something else to watch. But I
like to be able to engage with the community that we have,
absolutely,
in a way that like we're all just people playing games.
And this is like what we're doing here is fundamentally what like the gaming community is about. And it's, you know, it's not isolated to the gaming community, but it is a very big thing in the gaming community. Like I brought it up in, I think it was this past Monday's video. Yeah. Like discussion, you know, what makes bad and good and all that stuff. Like it's a thing in the gaming community because everybody has their own perspectives, and we like to hear them. So
it breaks down even farther than that. Like we talk about stats and like how they matter and how the game like matters, because no game is perfect. Right. And hey, by the way, I'm gonna go ahead and just reveal a small bit. The reason we may have been a little this week is because I have been working on a project that may be taking some time, but I hope you guys like it when it comes out. And
yeah, it's a big one.
It's a very big one. So while we're doing this, you may see, you know, a couple things here and there that aren't like to the normal standard. Right. But it will be a payoff for it. So if you're invested in the channel and you really like it, stick with us, and you're gonna see this big content drop.
Yeah, you definitely, I can say for sure that you have something to look forward to. Can't say when it's coming, but it's coming soon, and it's gonna be worth it, I think.
I really do. I hope it is, because it's one of these things that I've been rattling this idea in my mind since week 1. Yeah. And now I'm looking at it and like putting the pieces together. I haven't recorded as much as I want to on it yet, but I've been just putting a lot of effort, like mental resources into this. And when this comes out, I think it'll be worth it.
That's that grind again, by the way.
Yeah. Oh man, we're always on the grind, aren't we?
Yeah. All right, everybody. Well, if you liked the video, like it, share it, subscribe to the channel, help keep the community growing. We appreciate it, all the support. 700 subscribers, that's massive to us. I know it doesn't sound like a lot, you know, in the grand scheme of YouTube, but 700 is a big milestone for us. Like,
it really is. It's a fantastic like marker. It feels nice.
it does. It feels really great.
We're really just. I mean, honestly, all I feel is grateful for like the growth that we've had on this channel.
Absolutely.
And I just want to say, in the last video, I said, "Fuck Dell," but I will still hold true to the other phrase said that if Alienware, if you want to sponsor us, we need some extra tech here and there, and I'm okay with making a deal. So Alienware, sponsor us, please. I won't say fuck Dell anymore, I promise, maybe.
Alright, guys. We will see y'all in the next video.
See ya.